guys, this is Coach Matt from the Scorpions. This is going to be the first in a series of videos we're going to do. We're going to explain different dodges you can do from X or from behind the goal. Okay, this can either be attackmen, which is more commonly seen because attackmen usually start from closer to the goal line, but sometimes midfielders can find themselves behind the goal, so it's a good skill for everybody to learn how to do. Obviously, before we teach any dodging from any position, especially from X, we need to learn how to hold the stick correctly and protect the stick correctly. So I suggest that you look at the video where we discuss cradling and stick protection before, and teach that obviously before we go and do these things. Just in brief, when we discuss cradling and stick protection, when we're dodging, especially from X, where we can't shoot right away, we want to have our stick in one hand, okay? And so we want to have our chin to our front shoulder, we want to have our front foot forward, and we want to have our arm in tight here, okay? This will protect the stick and very little cradle. So once kids feel comfortable learning how to carry the ball like that, then we can move on to other things like dodging. So in this first video, what we'll discuss is the ideal situation when you're dodging from X, which is that we have beaten our defender flat out to the goal line, okay? When we beat our defender flat out like that, obviously we want to take the shortest distance to get to the front of the goal mouth so that we can score quickly. And so I call that over the top, okay? So when we're dodging over the top, we want to get ourselves into a position where we get the highest shooting angle so that we get the most cage to look at. We also want to protect our body from a defenseman who's going to be likely sliding to our position. I'm a left-hander, and we're dealing with a small space here at Casa Walpo because it's like 0 degrees outside. We'd love to do these videos outside, but not going to happen. So I'll be demonstrating this from the left, but make sure that every drill you teach kids to do it from both hands. All right, you don't want to have a kid that's just doing it with one hand. All right, so what we're going to do here is when we're dodging, we'll have had to do some sort of a dodge to beat our defenseman, or we could just make it a foot race to beat him to the goal line. If I'm successful in beating my defender to the goal line, just here a little bit, what I want to do is, again, I want to get to the front of the cage as quickly as possible, so I don't want to have to end up further upfield than I need to be, because that will take longer for the play to develop, and it will be more likely that I'll get slid to or my defenseman will catch up. So once we get to the goal line, what I want to do is I want to protect myself and increase my shooting angle, as I mentioned. So I'm going to take my stick and I'm going to pull down. I don't want to bring it all the way back here because I don't want to expose my stick to the defenseman who's likely trailing me. But I want to do it further enough that, see how it pulls my shoulder here, okay? And once it pulls my shoulder, I'm going to be facing the goal mouth. A lot of times what happens is kids are going to, when they're first starting out especially, they're going to settle for this look at the goal. We don't want to do that. We want to keep our feet moving. We want to be moving towards the center of the goal so we increase our shooting angle. So instead of stopping here after I pull my stick in, what I want to be doing is I want to increase my shooting angle here. So now I have a lot more cage to look at. The other thing I've done, if you notice, is now my back is away from the crease, or away from the defenseman who will likely be sliding to me. So they likely be sliding to my back. So I'm protecting myself from that. If they should come slide to me, then they'll probably push me into the crease and it'll be a penalty. The other thing that when I think about taking the shot, I'm so close to the goal, and obviously it's a smaller goal, and a smaller distance than we would be dealing with, but the similar principle. I don't need to take a hard shot, nor do I want to, because if I pull my stick back to here, I'm probably going to get trail checked. So we want to do a wrist shot. So when we do a wrist shot, all we need to do is flick our wrist forward. And what we want to be doing basically is, ideally, we want to be putting it low and away. Because the goalie, when he sees you coming here, he's going to be hugging this pipe. And so this will be, if he's a righty even, this will be the most goal you have to shoot at, okay? And then if we're aiming low, if we should shoot the ball too low, it will bounce. If we shoot the ball a little higher, we'll still put the ball on cage, which is really ideally. So just to go through this one more time, we've done some sort of a dodge We beat our defenseman cleanly. Now what we're going to do is, as I get to the goal line, I'm going to plant off my outside foot, and I'm going to pull my stick, and that's going to bring my shoulder over, and now I'm facing the goal. Again, I'm going to keep my feet moving, and then I'm just going to do a wrist shot to that low outside corner. So that's the over the top. And in subsequent videos, we'll go over what we would do if our defensemen were still staying with us when we're dodging from X.